Welcome to ETF Leaders, powered by New York Stock Exchange. I am Lara Crigger, Editor-in-Chief of ETF Trends ETF Database, and I am joined today by Gunjan Chauhan, who is the Global Head of ETF Capital Markets for State Street Global Advisors. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you, it's great to be here.
It's really great to have you. So, what are your big focus areas for this year?
Great question. So look, a number of the focus areas are the same as they were for us in 2021, but we've really dialed up the efforts. And they really center around, number one, fixed income. And that's really was accelerated through the crisis that we saw in COVID and the real adoption of fixed income ETFs by a wide range of users that really allows that to be a continued focus for us. ESG is the second area. Again, I think there's a tremendous opportunity and we've seen huge growth already in that area, predominantly in continental Europe, but certainly really strong signals in the US markets as well. The third key area for us is active. I think with over 300 fund launches last year in the ETF space that qualify as active, it's hard to ignore, and that's certainly front and center as a focus for us. And I think core to a key lane that we have in what we do in partnership, as well as State Street's own active capabilities. And then the fourth for us is really taking a look at Asia Pacific. So an entire global geographical footprint, and I think there's a real opportunity in that market for us too.
Makes a lot of sense. So you mentioned fixed income. How should investors be thinking about fixed income differently in 2022?
So look, this is really exciting, and I touched upon where we saw the acceleration of the adoption of fixed income ETFs was really in that COVID period of 2020. COVID struck and we saw the growth of fixed income ETFs and the users of fixed income ETFs grow. We had a wider range of users and we also had a wider and deeper range of use cases. Fixed income ETFs really became a signal for perhaps what we're going to see in future months and years as bond markets continue to evolve and modernize. We saw fixed income ETFs become a price of discovery tool for many users. We saw them provide the ability to access liquidity when perhaps underlying markets were shut or thinly traded. And we've seen the traditional cases of investment cases for fixed income ETFs really start to grow, where traditional fixed income investors that have been involved in the cash bond markets are now looking at the additive features that an ETF wrapper wrapping around those fixed income securities really can deliver, such as liquidity in stressed market conditions perhaps being additive, such as greater price transparency. And that's really exciting for us, and I think huge runway, with fixed income ETFs only making up 1% of the entire bond market compared and contrasted with equity ETFs that are 5% of the entire equity market. I think there's a tremendous opportunity for growth.
It does sound that way. Now, another big growth area is ESG. We're hearing a lot of advisors and investors interested in the ESG market. How are you thinking about the ESG movement moving forward?
Yeah, look, I think there's still a lot of learning, there's still a lot of growth that needs to take place in this marketplace, but we're taking a look at what's the data telling us as well as what we are hearing from the investor base. And the investor base for State Street is a global investor base. So we have the benefit of understanding what's happening in a number of different markets and really bringing some of that best thinking to our US investors for when the time might be right. We take a look at the data, and anything that classifies as a global sustainable fund in 2021 had an increase of 12% growth from Q3 to Q4, with over 124 billion of inflows in funds that consider applying an ESG factor to them. So, you know, those are big numbers, they are hard to ignore. And again, I think there's a journey of discovery, there is education, and there is perhaps some more runway to grow in this marketplace as we all become, a little bit more attuned to exactly what ESG will mean. And when we look at the E, the S, and the G factors, I think that's where the next iteration will occur.
Well, it sounds really exciting, and thank you so much, Gunjan, for joining me today.
Of course.
This was ETF Leaders, powered by New York Stock Exchange. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you next time.
Thank you.